Compiler is a translator which translates from high-level language to the low-level language. This translation takes place in several stages. So in compiler, there are several stages, or in other words, functionality of the compiler is divided across several stages. Source program that I have written goes as input to the first stage, and from the last stage, output is the target program or the low-level code. What are the different stages in the compiler? What is the functionality of each stage? This is what we'll try to understand in today's lecture. Compiler is a translator which translates source program to the target program. This translation takes place in two steps. In the first step, source program is converted to intermediate code. So this is the first step which is there in the compiler. Source program is converted to some kind of intermediate code. In the second step, intermediate code is converted to the target program. So these are the two major steps which are there in the compiler. In the first step, source program is converted to the intermediate code, and then in the next step, intermediate code is converted to the target program. In the first step, while converting source program to the intermediate code, there is a lot of analysis of the source program which is done. For example, source program needs to be syntactically verified, so there is a syntax analysis which is carried out. For example, source program needs to be semantically verified, so there is a semantic analysis which is done. So what is happening is, in the first step of the compiler, first of all, we are dealing with the source program. We are doing lots of analysis of the source program. So this step, which is converting the source program to the intermediate code, is known as analysis part of the compiler, or it is known as the front end of the compiler. Why it is the front end? Because this part of the compiler is dealing with the source program. In the second step, intermediate code is converted to the target program, and this is known as the synthesis part, because we are synthesizing the target program, and this is also known as the backend of the compiler, because this part is not dealing with the source program. And in the synthesis part, or in the backend of the compiler, intermediate code is being optimized, and it is being converted to the low level code, or it is being converted to the target program. So at the high level, I can consider two major steps which are taking place in the compiler. If you recall, at the beginning of the lecture I told you functionality of the compiler is divided across several stages. These stages are popularly known as phases of the compiler. So I can say that functionality of the compiler is divided across several phases. What are the different phases in the compiler? What is the functionality of each phase in the compiler? This is what is shown in this slide. First phase in the compiler is known as lexical analysis phase, or it is also known as lexical analyzer. This phase takes the source program as input and converts the source program to a token string. Any source program is a sequence of characters. Sequence of characters which are there in the source program, they are grouped together, and what is formed is known as tokens. So lexical analyzer converts source program to a stream of tokens. Token stream goes as input to the syntax analyzer, which is the next phase in the compiler. And syntax analyzer verifies whether the token stream coming from lexical analyzer, whether they are according to the specification of the language or not, whether they are in the right order or not. In other words, syntax analyzer verifies the syntax of the program. While it is verifying the syntax, it is also converting token stream to syntax tree. So syntax analyzer verifies the syntax of the program and it converts token stream to the syntax tree, or it builds syntax tree. What is a syntax tree? We have already covered this in previous lecture. In syntax tree, at the intermediate node, we have operator or we have a programming construct. Syntax tree built by syntax analyzer is semantically analyzed by semantic analyzer, which is the next phase in the compiler. In order to carry out semantic analysis, each node in the syntax tree is checked whether it is compatible with its children or not. This is done by semantic analyzer. If there is any need for semantic conversion, semantic analyzer makes appropriate modification in the syntax tree. So the output of the semantic analyzer remains to be the syntax tree. Next phase in the compiler is intermediate code generator. It converts syntax tree to a kind of intermediate representation. The intermediate representation is close to the low-level code. In the next phase of the compiler, which is machine independent code optimizer, intermediate representation is optimized. This optimization is machine independent because optimization which is carried out is not specific to a particular machine. That is why this optimization is known as machine independent optimization. Output of the machine independent code optimizer remains to be intermediate representation, but this is an optimized intermediate representation. It goes as input to the next phase of the compiler, which is code generator. Code generator converts intermediate representation to the target machine code. Now we have to understand the difference between the target machine code and intermediate representation. Target machine code is containing a reference to machine-specific things. Intermediate representation does not contain anything which is specific to the machine. For example, in target machine code, there could be reference to the registers, there could be reference to the CPU instruction. On the other hand, there will not be anything specific to the machine in intermediate representation. Next phase of the compiler is machine dependent code optimizer. So now we carry out optimization which is specific to the machine. So this optimization is machine dependent optimization. So target machine code produced by code generator is further optimized using the machine dependent code optimization techniques, and output remains to be the target machine code. There is one more major component of the compiler, which is known as the symbol table. What is the purpose of the symbol table? Why is symbol table needed? What kind of information we store in the symbol table? Let us try to understand this with an example. So let's say we are declaring a variable. The name of the variable is pos and the type of this variable is int. Later on, after declaration, at various places in the program, pos variable will be referenced. So for example, I have a statement where this variable is being assigned some value. At other places, at a lot of other places, the pos variable will be referenced. So for example, in this statement, the value of the pos variable is being used. At other places, at many other places, you will be referring to this variable, which is the pos variable. Now, the statement where you are referring to the pos variable, in order to semantically analyze those statements and in order to generate the code for those statements, you need to have information about the type of the variable. Where is the type information of the variable pos available? It is available in the declaration statement. So that means I need to have some place where I can store information about the symbol and information associated with them. So in this case, when pos variable is declared in this statement, information about this is entered into the symbol table. So we enter into the symbol table that pos is a symbol occurring in the program, and type of this symbol is it is an integer variable. Later on, when in statements I refer to this variable, I need to know what is the type of the variable pos. So I go to the symbol table and retrieve this information from the symbol table. So this is the purpose of the symbol table and why it is needed. Symbol table stores information about various symbols and what information will be associated with the symbol. It depends upon the type of the symbol. So for example, if I declare a variable to be an integer, type of information associated with this will be a simple integer indicating that it is a variable of type integer. On the other hand, if there is a variable which is of type array, let's assume that it is a one-dimensional array and the size of the dimension is, for example, 100. So information associated with this variable will be type that it is an array of integer, it's a one-dimensional array variable, and the size of this dimension is 100. Now here is another symbol occurring in the program, and this symbol is a jump label. The name of this symbol is next. What will be the information associated with this symbol? Information associated with this will be what is the address of this symbol, what is the address of this jump location. So information associated with this will be whatever is the address associated with this. So 2518, for example, just some arbitrary value. So in the symbol table, we are storing information about the symbol, and we are also storing information associated with the symbol. Information associated with the symbol depends upon the type of the symbol. So this is what we have in the symbol table. We had earlier spoken about the phases of the compiler. Now what we'll do is we'll pick up each phase one by one, and by taking an example, we'll try to understand the functionality of the phases of the compiler. So the example that we are taking is dot area is equal to width multiplied by length multiplied by 5. So this is the statement that we are taking as an example, and we'll see how does this statement get processed by the various phases of the compiler. First phase of the compiler is lexical analyzer. This phase groups character sequences in the source program into lexemes. Lexemes are further classified as tokens. So if I consider this statement, what are lexemes and what are tokens? First lexeme is dot area, and the corresponding token is identifier. Next lexeme is assignment operator, and the corresponding token is assignment operator. Next lexeme is width, and the corresponding token is identifier. Next lexeme is multiplication operator, and the corresponding token is multiplication operator. Next lexeme is length, and the corresponding token is identifier, and so on. So this statement has got converted to a stream of token. When a lexeme is identified by the lexical analyzer, it produces following output. What is the corresponding token and what is the attribute of the token? So in this case, if I look at the lexeme dot area, lexical analyzer will be is returning id comma 3. id is the token and 3 is the attribute of the token. What is being indicated by 3? 3 is the location in the symbol table at which information about the variable dot area can be found. Corresponding to the lexeme width, token is identifier, and what is this one indicating? One is the attribute of the token, and this is indicating the location in the symbol table where information about this variable is found. So this statement gets converted to a stream of token by lexical analyzer, and a stream of token is shown over here. So this statement gets converted to a token stream like this by the lexical analyzer phase. When was information entered into the symbol table about these variable? In this statement, we are referring to the variable dot area, width, and length. These variables must have been declared earlier. So when these variables were declared, at that time, compiler must have entered information about these variables into the symbol table. So when this statement is processed by the compiler, compiler already finds information about these variables into this in the symbol table. Next phase of the compiler is syntax analysis phase. Output of lexical analyzer, which is the token stream, goes as input to the syntax analyzer. For the given statement, this is the token stream that was produced by lexical analyzer. This token stream will be converted to a syntax tree by syntax analyzer. So in this case, I will be constructing this syntax tree. If you look at this expression, multiplication operator is left to right associative, so the evaluation of this will take place first. So we are evaluating the first multiplication operator over here, and this is the second multiplication operator, and here we have assignment operator. So this token stream gets converted to a syntax tree like this by syntax analyzer. Next phase of the compiler is semantic analysis phase. In this phase, syntax tree constructed during the syntax analysis phase is examined for semantic consistency. This is the syntax tree that we had constructed in the previous phase. Let us now examine this syntax tree for semantic consistency. Let's go over each node one by one. Let's take this node. What are the operand of this node? id comma 1, id comma 2. id comma 1 is defined as float. id comma 2 is defined as float. So both the operand to this multiplication operator, they are float. So this is perfectly okay. Let's go over to the next node. What are the operand for this node denoting the multiplication operator? One of the operand will be from this multiplication node, the result of this multiplication node. Result of this multiplication node is float. So one of the operand of this multiplication is float. The second operand is integer. So this node is taking one operand as float and another operand as integer. So I would like to convert integer to float so that both the operand to this multiplication operator, they become float. So now to this integer we are applying an operator, and this operator is converting integer to float. Now both the operand to this multiplication, they become float. So this syntax tree gets modified to this by the semantic analyzer during the when it examines syntax tree for semantic consistency. After semantic analysis phase, next phase in the compiler is intermediate code generation. In this phase of the compiler, three address code is generated. Syntax tree, which was the output of the previous phase, semantic analysis phase, gets converted to the three address code. This is the syntax tree that we obtained after semantic analysis phase. This syntax tree will get converted to the three address code like this. Three address code is a low level code. Every instruction of the three address code is not containing more than three address references. So this is resembling the CPU instruction. This three address statement is corresponding to this node. This one is corresponding to this node. This one is corresponding to this node. And the last three address statement is corresponding to this node in the syntax tree. So this syntax tree gets converted to the three address code like this by intermediate code generation phase. Next phase of the compiler is code optimization phase. In this phase, we carry out machine independent code optimization. Three address code which were generated by intermediate code generator, they are optimized during this phase. And this optimization is machine independent optimization. In order to carry out the optimization, anything which is specific to the machine is not considered. So that is why this optimization is machine independent optimization. This is the three address code that we had generated for the given example. This has been optimized to this. What is the optimization that we have done? The first statement remains to be as it is, and these three statements, they have been merged into the single statement. We have converted 5 to 5.0. There is no need for this operator now, and there is no need for the temporary variable t2. So by converting 5 to 5.0, need for t2 has been eliminated and this operator has been eliminated. The second optimization that has been done is, so now in place of t2 I'll be writing 5.0, and then whatever is the value of t1 into 5.0, the same value is directly being assigned to id3. So the need for t3 also has been eliminated. So this now becomes id3 is equal to t2 multiplied by 5.0. After optimization, these four statements, they have been reduced to just two statements during the code optimization phase of the compiler. Next phase of the compiler is the code generation phase. In this phase of the compiler, we produce a target machine code. This is the 3-address code that we have obtained in the previous phase, that was a code optimization phase. So this 3-address code is converted to the target machine code. So for this, target machine code is shown over here. Let's try to understand this machine code. The first statement is loading the value of ID1 into the register R1. If is denoting that it is the floating point instruction. So ID1 is being loaded into the register R1 by this instruction. In the second instruction, R1 is the destination and the next two are the source for multiplication operation. So in this case, we are multiplying the content of R1 with that of ID2 and storing the result in R1 itself. So after this, R1 is holding the value of this particular multiplication. So I can say that after this instruction, R1 is holding the value of ID1. After this instruction, R1 is holding the value of T1. In the next instruction, we are performing the second multiplication. We are multiplying the value of R1, which is holding the value of T1, with that of 5.0, and the result is being stored in the R1 itself. So after this instruction, R1 is holding the value of T1 into 5.0, or in other words, R1 is holding the value of ID3. So finally, in the last instruction, I stored the value of ID3, which is there in R1, back to its memory location. So this is store. Here we are performing multiplication, and this is loading the content of a memory location into some register. And capital F is denoting that it is a floating point operation. When we are generating the code, we generate the code in the optimized manner. So that means while generating the code, we do the register utilization optimally. So if you remember the last phase in the compiler in the earlier slide, we had shown that it is performing the machine-dependent code optimization. So machine-dependent code optimization is being done along with the code generation phase. While generating the code, it is optimally generating the code. It is generating the code which is optimized one.